As fun and as productive as a spring garden is, I have to tell you, I love having a fall garden, and a fall garden can be one of the greatest gardening experiences you've ever had. So if you're new to gardening or you haven't ever put in a fall garden, regardless of where you live, I highly encourage you to do so. And let me give you a few tips on how you can find out what to plant, when to plant, and how to take care of those plants so you have a great harvest. There are two places that I recommend that you go to get your fall garden started. The first place is Google. You want to find out what the local Master Gardener Association or the local agricultural extension from the college recommend to plant in your area in the fall. Best way I know to do that is to do a search like I've done here. Here I've just typed in Harris County, Texas garden planting calendar. I would encourage you to do a Google search for your county, state, and then garden planting calendar. You'll get great results. I've done this for several different states, and I'll show you the results I've gotten. But here in the Houston area, the Harris County, Texas gardening planting calendar gives us this result right here. And when we go to that result, you can see we have on one page an entire planting guide for the year. And in September, you can see we have lots of different things we can plant. We can plant lima beans, beets, broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower, carrots, chard, Swiss cabbage, collards, kohlrabi, mustard, peas, pumpkins, radishes, and so forth. There is quite a bit that you can plant here in the Houston area. You're probably thinking, well, of course, it's Houston, Texas. You can plant anything, anytime, and it'll grow. But what you will find out is that wherever you live, with very little exception, you can have a wonderful, huge, beautiful fall garden. And if you like lettuce and salads, this is the time of year to do that. Let's take a look at some other examples. Here I did a search for New York City and came up with a beautiful planting guide for the New York City area. All the way through the middle of September, you can be planting a fall garden in New York, upper state New York and New York City. And we're looking at bush beans, beets, broccoli, cabbage, carrots, Swiss chard, Chinese broccoli or kale, Chinese cabbage, bok choy, all these other great greens. Look at these different lettuces here, mustards, peas, radishes, rutabaga, spinach, and turnips. Again, don't overlook the opportunity to plant a fall garden and be able to save money on your vegetables during the winter by not having to buy them at the store. Here's a beautiful PDF file on what to plant and when to plant and how to plant in the Northwest. And this is put out by the Oregon State University, University of Idaho, and Washington State Universities. So here they show some great suggestions on what to plant for a fall garden, including beets, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, carrots, cauliflowers, a whole list of things down here. So really, there are lots of things that you can plant, especially if you add additional protection to your garden. So the first place I go to plant a fall garden is to Google. And if you're new to gardening, probably the easiest way to start is to go down to your local nursery, probably not your big box store, but your actual plant nursery, and buy some plants and put them in the soil. Now that you know what to plant and when to plant it, you need to be able to feed it and protect it from the weather. And that's when I go to my next website. As you know, I am a big fan of the mid-ladder gardening method because of the results I've been getting. And my wife, who's been a gardener of 30 years and a certified master gardener, is now converting all of her garden beds over to the mid-ladder gardening method because of how easy the mid-ladder gardening system is and the delicious and bountiful harvest that we're getting using this method. So the second place I go to is midladdergardening.com. And here on the home page, you'll be able to find information on just what the mid-ladder gardening method is, why it's unique in its approach to gardening, and exactly how it compares to traditional gardening methods, and whether the mid-ladder gardening method is for you. Regardless of whether it is or not, the information you'll get on this site, midladdergardening.com, will greatly help you in your success in your fall garden. It also discusses the advantages of soil bed gardening and also grow box gardening, because regardless of how you're gardening, the mid-ladder gardening method promises a great garden in any soil type with no soil amendments. In addition to this great gardening information, there are two things I recommend that you look for on this website. I'll share with you a little secret. Before I put in my fall garden, I purchased 10 bags of the micronutrient fertilizer mix. For $13.95, I can make 60 pounds of fertilizer that I use in my vegetable garden, on my lawns, on my fruit trees, and our grapes. Anything that we want to plant in our property, we use the natural mineral fertilizer. This is very inexpensive and, as you can see from my videos, very, very productive. So my recommendation is, now that you know what to plant, you need to be able to take care of it. I recommend using the natural mineral fertilizer from midladdergardening.com. I also anticipate a lot of people are going to be buying this in spring. I'd rather be ahead of the curve and get it now before there may be any possible increase in price in spring, and have it on hand. And of course, if you don't already have, you'll need the step-by-step direction on how to build a successful garden by using the Mid-Atlantic Gardening course book. Here you can download either a PDF option for $14.95 or get the paperback for $19.95. Personally, I like having it in hand. I take it out to the garden with me. I got the $19.95 edition. But at least get the edition that you need. In this book, you will find all the information that you need to plant in the soil or in a grow box. So having a successful fall garden really breaks down to three things. Number one, know what to plant. You can find that out quickly and easily by going to Google and doing a vegetable garden planting calendar search for your county. Number two is having proper nutrition for your plants. I like to stock up on my natural mineral fertilizers now in the fall, so I have them during my fall garden, and I don't have to buy them when there's a rush in the spring when everybody else is buying theirs. And the last thing is knowing how to garden in the fall and protect your plants from oncoming cold weather at the beginning of winter, and how to extend your garden season no matter where you are. I'll also have links below this video to videos that I've made on how I've built the mini greenhouse and the in the garden greenhouse in my backyard to extend the gardening season where I live. I hope you have a wonderful fall garden. You'll find that gardening in the fall is the most pleasurable time of the year to do gardening. This is LDS Prepper reminding you, if ye are prepared, ye shall not fear. And if you prepare now, you can have a beautiful fall garden by planting in September and October and being able to harvest in November, December, January, and February.